Hey guys, Tomboy601, and welcome to our Admirals Academy. Decided to start making a series of how-tos for this game because I realized my channel doesn't have any of those, and given the complaints as of late from especially the CCs, I figured now is the best time to open our own little Admirals Academy. So we are going to go from the very basics in this series all the way to the most advanced, and hopefully you join us along the way and you may even learn something. So with all that said, the first video in this Admirals Academy is going to be a very just basic breakdown of how to play and every single thing that you see on the screen, because coming into a match, there is a lot of information up there, and you need to be able to decipher it. So we're going to start top and center, and then work our way clockwise around, and hopefully by then, you'll have a better understanding of what's going on in World of Warships Legends. So first things first, right at the top, you will see a timer. That timer is always going to be 15 minutes, as matches in World of Warships Legends are 15 minutes. Flanking on either side is the ships that are in the battle. You will always be on the blue team, and you will be represented by a light green shade, as well as if you're in a party or what is called a division in World of Warships, your division mates will also be around that same color. You can see there are 4 different shapes up top on that bar, each representing a different class of ship. We'll go ahead and go from left to right on this one. The first one on the left with the 2 horizontal bars, that is the aircraft carrier. There will only ever be one on each team. Aircraft carriers' role are to provide spotting and sort of attack the stragglers who are here and there. Their biggest job and most important role is to hunt down destroyers. Next to the right of those, the boat with 2 diagonal lines going through, that is the battleship. These ships are the tankiest of any of the boats that are floating out there. They have high hit point pools. They have slow firing guns that deal large damage in intermittent bursts. So they have what we call a high alpha strike. So they can do a ton of damage, but they do that damage very, very slowly. So they have a spike of damage every 30 seconds. To take advantage of that damage spike, what they want to do is to get in what is called a crossfire position, or a position that allows them to exploit weaknesses in enemies' armor. Of course, this is made a little more difficult because they are some of the slowest boats out there, as they are also some of the most heavily armored boats out there. The next ship that kind of looks like it's the same shape as the battleship, but only one diagonal stripe, is the cruiser. Cruisers are the jack of all trades. They are the ones that have the most diverse sort of set of skills and play styles out there, and that's because they range in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But the most important thing is the theme for them is they tend to have a higher damage per minute, but they tend to be much lightly armored. They tend to have an intermediate sort of shell that they are going to fire, and they do the best damage staying alive over time, but it is made a little bit more difficult because they do not have nearly as much armor as a battleship. The final boat, the small triangle over there, well, that's the destroyer. Destroyers are the stealthiest ships out there, usually equipped with both guns and torpedoes. Torpedoes give them the ability to launch attacks on even the most heavily armored targets out there and deal significant damage. Their role is to do things like capture bases, like we are in a base right now. They also want to be able to provide spotting and eliminate enemy destroyers. Destroyers are the eyes and ears of the team. Most games won't have aircraft carriers in them, or some games won't have aircraft carriers in there, in which case it's the destroyer's role to spot targets and for them to be able to kind of go out there and be the front lines of the battle. Next, if we're moving down a little, we are going to see, in this case, we are in a domination game mode, and we're going to kind of see the scoring elements of this game mode. There are 3 caps, A, B, and C, and we control 2 of them. You're able to see the capture progress and how many points. Ultimately, there are 2 ways to gain points. One is to sink enemy ships. The other is to capture the points. When you capture the points, you'll receive 3 points every roughly 5 seconds. If you look just below, you'll see a spotted with a plane in a bright orange. What that is telling me, one, that I am currently spotted and the method by which I'm spotting. If I'm being spotted by a plane, it will indicate a plane. If I'm being spotted by direct line of sight, it's going to switch to an eye. There's also a sonar and a radar indicator that you will also see, which is telling you if you're being spotted because you're currently being detected by either an enemy's radar or an enemy's sonar. So that's kind of the top middle part of it. Let's move on over to the right hand side, and you're going to see ribbons. These are achieved by doing certain feats in the game, and you'll kind of get an idea for them. Those aren't really important. The one of the little more important things is the damage number. Now, the way you earn points in World of Warships Legends is not directly tied to that damage number. It is fun to have big damage games because big number good, but that is not the way you should consider yourself if you had a good game. The way you measure your performance in a match is through XP. The best way to describe it is every single ship on the map is worth the same amount of XP when sunk. That's from the destroyer all the way up to the battleships and the aircraft carrier. Let me tell you, the couple thousand damage you do to a destroyer is worth way more percentage-wise than a couple of thousand damage done to a battleship. And that's just kind of something you need to keep an eye out on and kind of prioritize that way. There are additional ways to earn XP, like capping bases or capping certain control points. So that's that. In the middle of the map on the right hand side, you're going to see 4 icons pop up whenever you fire at a ship and hit. These are to tell you what your shells are doing on the enemy vessel. The first one is full penetration, i.e. the shell penetrated and did its full amount of potential damage. The second icon is shattered. This means the shell hit, but it hit armor that is too thick for it to penetrate, and it's not going to do any damage. If it is an HE shell, it does have a chance to still cause a fire. The third one from the left is overpen. This is when you fire something like an armor-piercing round, and the round has so much velocity or is just so big that it flies right through the ship. In situations like this, it does 10% of the overall maximum damage to the vessel. Finally, the one on the far right is going to be a ricochet. This is when a ship is too steeply angled for your shell, usually an AP1, to actually be able to penetrate. You're going to do no damage in circumstances like that. Down in the bottom right hand corner is your speed indicator. Of course, you're going to use on Xbox A and B, on PlayStation X and circle in order to increase and decrease. If you need to slow down quickly, I do recommend instead of just pulling to stop, you can go full reverse. This will slow down your ship a little bit quicker than if it was being slowed down via just the stop button. Additionally, the reverse tends to get you about a quarter, just above a quarter of your forward speed in reverse, though it does take a lot longer to get up to that speed. To the left of that is your aiming modules, or your weapon sort of modules. It's the first one. If you have torpedoes, pressing Y is going to allow you to switch between your main guns and your torpedoes. One thing to keep an eye on when the torpedoes is when you are aiming the torpedoes, you will see a smaller inner arch. That is the minimum arming distance of those torpedoes. If you fire at a target that is within that area, the torpedoes will not arm and you will not be able to hit or destroy anyone because they haven't had enough time to arm. To the left of that, you're going to go ahead and see the main battery. It's going to count down your quickest gun to reload to let you know how long you have until you can fire your next shot. To the left of that is your ammunition selection. Most boats in World of Warships Legends have access to 2 different styles of ammunition: high explosive, or HE, which is what this this shell with the fire on it, or AP, which is the red one. They have distinct abilities between them, and we will discuss in depth what those are in a later episode. But for now, what you need to understand is HE tends to do a weaker amount of damage, can generally hit at any angle, and has the chance to cause fires. AP has the ability to penetrate armor better, but you need to be at specific angles to enemy ships. And we'll talk about how penetration and all that works a little bit later in a different video. But when in doubt, fire HE. If a ship is broadside or sitting at 90 degrees to you, it may behoove you to switch to AP, because you can usually pen and hit the weak point of a ship, which is called its citadel. Then dead middle down below, well, that kind of just gives you an idea of where everything on your boat is aiming. You may see arrows come off from the left and the right. That's the current angle of your rudder. You'll see generally the guns of your ship represented there, as well as the torpedo tubes. Guns shown in yellow can't currently be fired. This could be for a multitude of reasons, whether it is the angle of the ship, and they just don't have the correct firing angle, or that gun is currently reloading. Then over to the left, once again, those small icons, those are your consumables. These tend to be unique for each ship. Generally, the first one is always going to be the damage control party. What this does is it suppresses and heals you from any damage over time effects, whether that be flooding caused by torpedoes or fires that have been caused, or if you have any modules knocked out, like your engine getting knocked out, this will heal that. Generally, you have unlimited uses of this consumable. There are some exceptions to it, but in the broad sense, you have unlimited use of this consumable, and it will generally heal or come back relatively quickly. It can be up to a minute for ships like a battleship, but when you get down to destroyers, it can be down to as low as something like 20 seconds. Then further to the left is going to be just kind of your name and your health bar. So you're going to see your player icon over there. You're going to see your health. As a rule of thumb, each little segment of health is about 5,000 damage or 5,000 hit points. And you can use this also when you're looking at enemy ships to determine about how many hit points they have. Finally, right below that is going to be what sort of vessel you are currently in. Next, if we head to the top of the frame, that is going to be the overall minimap. And this will become one of your best friends. It's going to show you a multitude of things, mainly what ships are nearby, who is within your range or who is within spotting. The outer circle, the white circle, that is going to be your current weapons range. If you switch between guns and torpedoes, it will flip over and show you the range of your guns and torpedoes. Then the yellow or blue circle is going to be your detection radius. It will be yellow when you have been spotted. Generally, when you fire your gun, your detection circle blooms out to the maximum range of your guns before it contracts once again. To the upper right of that minimap is going to be your spotted detector, or what's giving you away currently. It's going to show you what your current spotting range is and why you are being spotted. Like I said, this can be from a multitude of factors, whether you fired your gun recently and someone can spot you. Remember, once you fire your gun, you have about a 20-second period until your spotting circle constricts once again back down to your base detectability range. For example, on this ship, the base concealment or the base detectability range is 8.8 kilometers. But when I fire my guns, it's going to bloom out to 12.7 kilometers, which is the maximum range of the ship. Finally, point your attention to the dead center of the map, or of the screen, and you will see the aim indicator when you are zoomed in. On the left-hand side is going to be a flight time indicator, so how long your shells are going to take to get to the target. Then in the center is going to be your aim point, in addition to how long you have to reload your gun. And then on the right-hand side is the current distance that that aim circle is at. You can use all sorts of things like that in order to go into and be able to determine just where you need to aim. You will also see a slight circle on ships you have focused. This is kind of helping you out and telling the game what vessel you are currently focusing on. You will want to use this because aimed shots are always going to be more effective than unaimed shots, or shots where you don't have a ship selected. This does also help the game with the auto aim system. There's a very strong auto aim system, and we'll go over aiming in a different video as well. So guys, that's my full breakdown of all of the UI that's up on the screen whenever you play a match of World of Warships Legends. Hopefully this kind of helps break down and gives you an idea of what exactly everything going on the screen is and how you can more effectively use it to become better at the game. If you like this video series, guys, let me know down in the comments below. And always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.